Egypt, the first superpower and the fall of pharaohs. Egypt, the land of mysteries, the first great superpower of the ancient world. But did you know that the Prophet Muhammad had already foreseen its conquest by Muslims? Before his passing, he made a clear statement. "When you conquer Egypt, treat its people kindly, for they are your relatives." And just a few years after his death, during the reign of Caliph Umar ibn Khattab, the unstoppable Muslim army had already crushed the mighty Roman and Persian empires. But just when victory seemed within reach, a devastating catastrophe struck. A deadly plague spread across the newly conquered lands. The speed of the Muslim forces slowed, and the epidemic claimed the lives of many of their greatest generals. This unexpected crisis led to a turning point. With the loss of experienced leaders, new generals had the opportunity to rise. Caliph Umar made a crucial decision, appointing Amr ibn al-As as the new army chief. Under his command, the plague began to fade, and stability was restored. But then, another major decision was made. Instead of stopping, Amr suggested an ambitious plan. "We must march toward Egypt." Why Egypt? Why not the heart of the Roman Empire? The answer lies in Egypt's unmatched wealth and power. The secret behind Egypt's power. 5,000 years ago, the world revolved around one essential resource: water. And Egypt had the most powerful river in the world, the Nile. This lifeline transformed Egypt into the richest civilization, attracting people from all over. Over time, Egypt became the most powerful kingdom on earth, led by pharaohs who ruled with absolute authority. But the pharaohs weren't just kings. They claimed to be gods. Over centuries, they crafted a belief system where they weren't just rulers but divine beings. They spread the idea that you can only enter paradise if you worship the pharaoh. This dangerous belief ensured that no one dared rebel against them. The race to immortality. As time passed, pharaohs became obsessed with eternal life. They believed that only the pharaoh whose body remained intact after death could retain his divine status. This led to the birth of mummification. The process was brutal. First, all blood was drained from the body. Then, a hook was inserted through the nose to remove the brain. Organs were carefully taken out, except the heart, which was preserved in a sacred jar. The body was then soaked in a special salt mixture for 40 days to prevent decay. Finally, the mummified pharaoh was wrapped in white linen, coated in honey and oils, and placed inside a luxurious coffin. But this wasn't enough. Pharaohs began constructing gigantic structures to house their mummies, and this led to the creation of the pyramids. At first, pyramids were modest, but over time they grew bigger and grander. The competition reached its peak when Pharaoh Khufu built the Great Pyramid of Giza, the tallest structure in the world for over 3,500 years. Even today, it remains one of the heaviest structures ever built, weighing more than 12 Burj Khalifas combined. But there was a problem. Building these mega-structures drained Egypt's economy. As pyramid sizes increased, Egypt's wealth began to shrink. Eventually, the once mighty civilization started to weaken. The fall of pharaohs and the rise of a new power. At the peak of Egypt's economic crisis, something unexpected happened. A child was sold as a slave in the markets of Egypt. But this was no ordinary child. He was Yusuf Joseph A.S., raised in the house of a powerful minister. Prophet Yusuf A.S. grew up to become the prime minister of Egypt. He restructured the failing economy and once again made Egypt a superpower. But after his passing, the descendants of Prophet Yusuf, the Bani Israel, grew in number and strength, ultimately becoming the most influential community in Egypt. But then came a shift in power. A new pharaoh rose to the throne, one who saw the Bani Israel as a threat. He enslaved them, imposing unbearable oppression. For 400 years, the Bani Israel suffered under Pharaoh's rule, until a prophecy changed everything. The prophecy that shook Pharaoh. Pharaoh's astrologers delivered a chilling prophecy. A child will be born who will destroy your empire. Terrified, Pharaoh ordered the execution of every newborn Israelite boy. But the very child he feared, Moses, Musa as, was raised in his own palace. We all know what happened next. Prophet Musa as confronted Pharaoh, demanding the freedom of the Bani Israel. After witnessing countless miracles, Pharaoh finally relented. 600,000 Israelites left Egypt overnight, ending 400 years of slavery. But Pharaoh went back on his word. Enraged, he led his army to pursue them. And then, the unthinkable happened. The Red Sea split open for Prophet Musa and his people. But when Pharaoh and his army followed, the waters crashed down upon them. Pharaoh was drowned. The end of an empire. With Pharaoh's fall, the world realized the truth. Pharaohs were not gods, they were just mortals. This shattered Egypt's belief system, and from that moment on, Egypt was never the same. The once mighty superpower fell into a dark age, a time of confusion, decline, and vulnerability. Years later, new rulers came and went. Egypt was conquered by Alexander the Great, then fell under the Roman Empire for 600 years. But one final prophecy remained to be fulfilled: the final conquest of Egypt. After centuries under Roman rule, the time had come. The prophecy of Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, was about to be fulfilled. Under the leadership of Caliph Umar ibn Khattab, Muslim armies marched toward Egypt's gates, ready to claim what had long been foretold. The rest, as they say, is history. Subscribe for more epic, untold stories of history.